MCQs on evaluation of reference source and web resources. Evaluation of reference source is done to assess quality, relevance, and usefulness of information sources. Which of the following is a key criteria in evaluating a reference source? That is authority. Which of these not a standard criteria for evaluating web resources? That is cost of the printing. Authority in evaluation refers to credibility and expertise of the author or publisher. Which factor checks how up to date a web source is? That is currency. Which of the following is a primary reference source? Dictionary. While evaluating a dictionary, which criterion is most important? That is vocabulary coverage and definition. Evaluation of an encyclopedia should consider scope, coverage, and illustrations. The usefulness of a yearbook is judged by the accuracy and currency of the statistical data. A good bibliography should be evaluated for arrangement, coverage, and annotations. Which of the following evaluates how easy a resource is to navigate? That is usability. Which of these tools helps evaluate the popularity of a web page? That is Google PageRank. Relevance in web evaluation means how well the content matches user needs. Which domain is generally more credible? That is .edu or .government. A biased website is one that presents information favoring one perspective without any balance. Which of the following can be used for evaluating online journal quality? That is journal impact factor. Citation analysis helps in measuring how often a work is referred. The CRAAP test include which of the following? That is currency, relevancy, authority, accuracy, and the purpose. Which of the following tool used to detect plagiarism in web content? That is Turnitin. Which of the following helps evaluate technical quality of the web page? That is W3C validator. One challenge in evaluating web resource is information overload and variable quality. Evaluating open web source requires cross verification and source checking. Which of these should be avoided in academic web resources? That is anonymous authors with unverified claims. Best practice in evaluating a web resource is to check author, publisher, update date, and the sources. Which indicator shows scholarly reliability? That is peer review status. Wikipedia can be used for background reading and quick reference with the caution. Google Scholar helps in evaluating scholarly articles through citation and linking to open access sources. PubMed is evaluated based on the abstract quality, indexing, and update frequency. ERIC is considered a good source because it provides educational research and peer review material. DOAJ includes journals that are open access and the peer review. Librarians evaluate resources to ensure information accuracy, credibility, and user needs are met. Which tool is part of the librarian evaluation kit? That is checklist based on the evaluation criteria. The main difference in evaluating print versus web source is web source required ongoing validation for changes and reliability. Currency is more difficult to assess in website with no update history. The most trusted academic web sources are often linked from university, government, or reputed research institution. Digital literacy includes the ability to evaluate, interpret, and use online resources efficiently. The rise of AI generated content increased the need for critical evaluation and fact checking of the sources. Evaluating mobile friendly web content involves responsiveness and readability on small screens. Almetrics are used to evaluate social media and online attention of the scholarly work. Libraries train users in evaluating reference of web resources through information literacy program. Which of the following is a qualitative evaluation method? That is expert review and user feedback. The term bibliographic control refers to ensuring all information sources are systematically listed and accessible. While comparing two encyclopedias, one must evaluate coverage, objectivity, and editorial board. A good online dictionary is evaluated based on the vocabulary depth, ease of navigation, and update frequency. Which source requires constant monitoring for authenticity? Websites and social media sources. Accessibility in web resources include availability of users with disabilities through alternate text, screen readers, and extra. Mobile responses in evaluation means ability of a site to adapt and display properly on mobile devices. Broken links in a reference web portal affect reliability and user experience. User interface design matters in evaluation because it affects ease of access and user engagement. Which feature enhances digital source evaluation transparency. That is clearly mention date of last update and source citation. Reference source meant for children should be evaluated for language simplicity, visuals, and age appropriateness. Evaluating subject specific web resources involves checking depth of coverage and authority in the subject area. A multilingual digital reference source should be checked for the accuracy, translation, quality, and interface consistency across the language. Which of these factors increase trust in a web resources? That is transparent authorship and refer citation. Academic repositories are considered reliable when maintained by recognized institutions that offer citation tracking. Teaching users how to evaluate resource is a part of the information literacy program. One danger of poorly evaluated web content is misinformation and academic damage. The acronym FACT in source evaluation stands for the fairness, accuracy, credibility, and the timeliness. Peer review articles in open access platforms are evaluated for author credentials, review status, and publication sources. The difference between an open access repository and a blog is repository contains verified and scholarly information. Thank you.